Summer is typically a duration when national tourism boards promote their most prevalent destinations. But 2 years of a pandemic have made human beings who live full-time in traveler hotspots rethink whether or not the pre-pandemic norm of over-tourism must return. And some governments have taken note. This year Greece's tourism ministry launched a new strategy advertising its world-famous tourism web sites, while also highlighting lesser-known components of the country. The campaign is, Greece. If you come even once, you will desire to continue to be forever. Tourism Minister Vasilis Kakilias tells me. Alternative destinations. So many of them. 124 inhabited islands. Yes. Of path it is. About Mykonos and Santorini and Corfu and Crete. But there are so many other destinations. He says. Speak me. From his office in the Greek capital Athens. Greece U.S. Profile Greek tourism is rebounding from its pandemic collapse. More than 18 million human beings holidayed in Greece in 2021. But traveler numbers last year were more than 34% under 2019 levels. That is roughly in line with world trends. The United Nations World Tourism Barometer confirmed. Within the first 5 months of this year the industry recovered almost half its pre-pandemic vacationer numbers. Mr. Kakilias says his country's strategy of making an attempt to spread tourism numbers across many locations could help reduce the over-tourism hassle that plagued so many of the world's famous locations. Earlier than the pandemic, Tinos is one such destination. It is one of 33 islands and islets that make up the Cyclades, one of the country's most well-known island groups. The island is most nicely acknowledged among the Christian community, which sees lots make an annual August pilgrimage to the Holy Church of Panagia Evangelistria of Tinos. The average tourist, though, frequently overlooks the island, with its rocky landscape, in favor of different, wildly famous Cyclades destinations such as Mykonos and Santorini. But Tinos has a lot of the equal attracts that its neighbors boast: whitewashed buildings, sandy beaches and temperate waters. It additionally has traditions that locals are proud to share. Artisan cheesemaker Angela Ruggieri has been making cheeses special to Tinos for the higher phase of the closing decade. Her Malathuni and Kariki cheeses are made in small batches. Outside her workshop she proudly displays her mounds of Malathuni, which hold on timber rods like Christmas baubles. They are a semi-hard variety of white cheese, some of which she seasons with purple peppercorns or poppy seeds. The Kariki she makes is a blue cheese that matures in gourds before it is packaged up. Ms. Ruggieri and her husband began the business throughout the country's debt disaster. In the early 2010s, it was once essential to transition out of the construction industry that had previously been their line of work, but also an attractive alternative for the couple. It was something that we favored to do. We have been each born into farming households, and that was something that we knew considering we have been kids. I take into account myself. When I was once a little girl, dozing and listening to the milk dripping into the bucket. Cheese making was in our homes. Ms. Ruggieri says, demand for their cheese has grown so much. It has nearly surpassed what they can produce. Here in Tinos, I promote to many places, she says. It's in general butcher shops, retail outlets with ordinary products and restaurants. Also, there are non-public citizens who come here and purchase cheese as a gift when they go back to Athens. I do not promote to supermarkets due to the fact they prefer to make extra than we do. They asked me for a collaboration, however. I stated, no. One of the few Ruggery has agreed to promote. 2 is Spiros Bellas. He operates 2 eating places. One on Tinos, serving current Greek fare made for sharing. I think the most necessary element is for customers, specifically for tourists. Even if they are from Greece or all over the world, the high-quality element to do is to find out the treasures a location has. He says, of route, I desire extra travelers to come to our island. The trouble is if you have a lot of traffic each year, it is tough to preserve the traditions. It is that attraction of discovery that delivered not just Mr. Bellas to the island 5 years ago. However, this summer's crop of holidaymakers too. Many come from other parts of Greece, deciding on Tinos for its quieter, more secluded, and foodie-friendly reputation. One Canadian vacationer named Stephen chose it as a month-long bolt hole to study for the bar exam to come to be a lawyer. He cherished the experience so tons that he invited his mum Nancy for the closing part of his stay. There's a little bakery. We have been there 3 times. Building relationships with the human beings. In restaurants and bakeries that you go to, everyone's clearly friendly, says Nancy. And in the bakery, they always throw in something. Today, they had been like, oh, the coffee's on us. That hospitality is what Tourism Minister Vasilis Kakilias says makes Tinos, and Greece, unique. Philoxenia is a Greek word. You cannot translate it in any other language. It is that deep need of the Greeks to host foreigners, and this is what makes travelers fall in love with Greece. He says. Angela Ruggery agrees. However, reiterates it is subculture that makes her island special. While there is a feeling of openness, she is no longer in a rush to export its unique flavors. When anyone comes to Tinos and tries my cheese, he will have the taste. Then he will strive it once more in Athens and his thought will go return to Tinos. She says, for greater on this story pay attention to Business Daily. Tackling over tourism in Greece on BBC Sounds.